This has got to be the most difficult recording I've done. It has to do with women and how they manage through pregnancies. So women are talking about their experiences when they were pregnant, and I'm just going to read some of their comments. So, learning how to shit again is a bitch. You can go through labor without a single uterine contraction. You can bleed for up to 6 weeks after you give birth. Postpartum, people think that shit is fake. Oh my God. Cholestasis is a huge problem in the WOC community, and when left ignored can progress into preeclampsia or worse, eclampsia. Your vision gets worse. Loving finding yourself all over again. Heartburn does not equal a full head of hair. Sometimes it's just terrible reflux. Black women are more likely to die during childbirth because of lack of care and misdiagnosis. Your C-section scar can get infected and it'll have to be cut open again and drained. Then the antibiotic can give you C. diff. If not treated, it can kill you. I learned this the hard way. Reopening your vaginal stitches accidentally is very common. Like, I'm really queasy right now. Your first pee will sting if you tear, and no amount of warm water or dermosplat will be able to steal this experience away from you. Pooping is horrendous. Maybe not, maybe sometimes, all the time. Your boobs will get huge, they will get lumpy, it will hurt. The first few days of breastfeeding are accompanied by cramps. If you put too much strain on your body after a C-section, it can cause a hernia that you have to get surgically fixed. You have contractions days following birth. These are normal. It's your uterus shrinking back to size. Your memory turns to poo. It's like the only thing your body wants to focus on is baby. Your body can be resistant to epidural, especially if you overuse prescription painkillers. Depending on your baby's position during labor determines where you'll feel your contractions. The chills after birth. Yes, the chills after birth. The memory loss, the permanent back pain, the pelvic bones rubbing together. Somebody says, wish this thread was here when I was pregnant. LOL. I wish they had more facts on breastfeeding. Your milk changes in taste and smell depending on what you eat. You can expose your baby to more flavors before introducing to solids, which will help make your baby less of a picky eater. Whoa. Milk changes depending on the baby's needs. If your baby is sick, it contains more antibodies to help the baby feel better sooner. Mummies who breastfeed are at a lower risk to develop ovarian and breast cancer later on in life, as well as heart attacks, strokes, etc. Clogged milk ducts can happen to anyone. They are normal and not your fault. Hot compresses help stimulate milk production to release the ducts. Breast milk can be toxic to your body if you don't feed or pump. Causes severe agonizing headaches with temporary vision impairment. Learn that the hard way, LOL. I don't see why she's LOLing. What's to laugh about? So, I chose not to give birth, not to have children. I didn't want that because it just seemed like a horrendous experience to endure. And I marvel at the amount of women who have multiple births, multiple children, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some people have up to 11 or more babies. And I don't understand that. I really don't. Could stress affect your breastfeeding? Oh, that's a question. We're not here for questions. You can start to lactate when you hear your baby cry. You can turn your toilet seat blue because of excess hormones. Your goodies can get darker throughout pregnancy. This whole thread makes me realize I made the right choice when I married a woman. Y'all the real MVPs. I just need to know from all aspects, was it as bad as you thought it was going to be? Personally, I'm scared as F to be a mom. So big ups to all of you. This is exactly what I'm thinking. Better you than me. I don't know, but my coochie bone always hurted. Nobody checked it. Just told me it was normal. But when I Googled all my symptoms, my bones were separating because of the weight of the baby. I don't wish that on nobody. Beware and wear that belly cast and maybe try and keep them legs moving. I was lazy as hell, eating and laying down all day, every day. Preeclampsia is real. It's when your body has too much protein. It messed up my whole life. You can't start dilating. You can start dilating a week beforehand. Your nipples spread crazy. Pregnancy brain does not go away. Not being able to feel yourself pee after taking an epidural. Pretty sure it's triggered thyroid problems for me. My body went crazy with hormones and never went back to normal. Wow. I never used to get cramps, and now they are terrible, almost equal to contractions. You need and deserve a doula. Birth and postpartum. You lose your interest in sex towards the 3rd semester. Is it semester? I don't know. I don't think so. I have heartburn and acid reflux now. Didn't have it before I got preggers. Ew. Just thought you might see something you didn't know about on this that may be helpful in the future, so someone was tagged. The gross terms they definitely need to find new names for, like mucus plug or bulging sac. Definitely never knew about either. Oh my God. If you have a stomach that hangs, please don't let them tell you to put a napkin and sterile strips down there to keep the area dry and closed. Invest in some things to ensure it'll stay dry, because the more you keep it dry, the faster it'll close. I used gauze and I put transparent film dressing, frame style, over the gauze to hold it in place. Your breasts will harden from the backed up milk that you're not pumping or breastfeeding. They will tell you don't put your breast under hot water because it'll produce more milk. Don't listen. Milk your breast under the hot water to relieve your breast of that milk. In 24 hours, your breast won't be so rock hard no more. They don't tell you how beneficial it is to leave the baby umbilical cord attached for 30 minutes after birth. They don't tell you that eye ointment isn't necessary unless the mother has an STD. It don't do shit but not let the baby see the mother and form a connection right away. My breast milk dried up, and a year after not even trying to breastfeed my son, never latched. I was leaking milk for months because of my antidepressants. So why are you taking medication if you're breastfeeding or if you're just newborn? That's odd. Antidepressants and you just had a baby. Like, why do women put themselves through that? And half of them, the father is not even around. You will have a pregnant belly after you first have the baby for at least 3 months, then a hanging stomach with saggy skin after you give birth months later. Boobs be stretchy as hell after baby. Metal mouth is a horrible symptom where your mouth literally tastes like metal no matter what. With me, dairy and non-acidic foods create the quickest metal mouth. Tart foods and drinks will minimize it for a few, but nothing gets rid of it. It just sounds so, oh God. One mothers pregnant with boys in the 3rd trimester can get a full body rash called PUPP. P-U-P-P-P. It's not contagious. There's no real known cause, only that it may come from a gene in the father's bloodline. It will last until birth and is extremely itchy and miserable, and no, they won't induce you if there's no harm to baby. Some babies refuse to latch on, so a feed baby is the best, regardless of if you have to feed them formula. Before and after pushing, I had these shakes like I was freezing the whole time. The night sweats right after pregnancy. Pregnancy dreams, the worst. I'm not pregnant and I'm not about to give birth, but oh my goodness, that's scary to read. So nobody has had not one positive thing to say. Okay, thanks, I'm not having kids. The doctor stretching my cooch out hurt the worst. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. If you all need a ray of sunshine, my pregnancy was practically flawless, LOL. I'm 34 weeks and the worst thing I've had is back pains. I was 40 weeks and 5 days and I wasn't ready to have my baby. Did anybody get super gassy while pregnant, more so towards the end, or is it just me? The fucking contractions are 10 times worse than the pushing, but I went 16 and a half hours without any meds, so if you want to go natural, it can be done. Since you're all about to be new to motherhood, just a few things to know. The baby be breakdancing for during the 30th to 41st week, peeing on yourself and throwing up at the same time. They press on your stomach after birth and that shit hurts. This thread is by no means supposed to scare you. The outcome is incomparable to anything and is beyond worth it. What our bodies can withstand to bring new life into this world is far beyond amazing, and it is so worth it. I hope this thread will help new mummies and mummies to gain a little more insight on what is possible, but everyone's experience is different. I'm curious about this because lately I've been seeing so much child abuse, so many children being harmed, so many children unwanted, unloved, neglected, not cared for, abandoned, abused, molested, and people still keep having them. Well, thanks for scaring me. I'm due in 2 months and scared all over again. I hate y'all. Sitting on the toilet during labor helps tremendously. Didn't even feel the contractions until I stood up. After a C-section, they make you walk around, which sucks because your body is still going through withdrawals from the anesthesia going away. Can't eat for hours before a C-section. Oh my goodness, see how many things a female goes through while pregnant and with a baby. LOL, never tell me I'm dragging it again. They gonna put a balloon in your pussy and you're gonna wanna die, and that epidural needle long like a fucking yardstick, and they gonna fist you to get that damn placenta out, and they gonna think you passed away, and you're gonna think you passed away to the next life. How are you gonna start shaking? How are you gonna start shaking and shivering like a damn crackhead after you have the baby because of the epidural? I was laying on that bed scared, thinking I was dying or something. Your body produces odor for the baby to detect breast milk and guide the baby to eat, and the odor is unpleasant no matter how much you shower and put deodorant on, but it is normal. Giving birth ain't all that scary. If you're a first-time mother, it's okay to listen to other people's experiences, but trust me, everybody's experience is different. The pushing on the tummy after birth, or the soreness for the next 3 weeks or so down there. I'm reading this wanting my baby not to come out now. Oh my goodness. Wow, I'm not having a kid. These are women talking about childbirth, the ghost baby, and all the missed periods you get after birth. Thanks guys, I didn't have baby fever after this. They said morning sickness lasted 3 months, don't believe it. Threw up for 9 months straight. That first poop after a C-section, death. Let's talk about the possibility of getting a yeast infection in your nips if you breastfeed. Wipe after feeding with warm water and let air dry before covering up. Sometimes hospitals induce women not because they're at risk, but because your insurance pays more. So ask your questions. The glucola test is also unnecessary. You can reject it if you want, but they won't tell you you have options. Your boobs leak when aroused. The first P. I'm skipping to the after pregnancy postpartum. No one tells you about the postpartum hair loss that makes you shed like a effing dog, because when pregnancy, we don't shed hair. Another thing is your boobs are gonna get bigger after birth. Contractions hurt 10 times more than pushing. When your body is healing, especially down there, it's sore and itchy at the same time, and you can't do nothing but witch hazel freezer pads with aloe vera gel. Everybody's different. I ain't like pregnancy at all. They come back in the room to punch you in the stomach multiple times after giving birth, shaking my head. We talk about postpartum depression, but what about antepartum? I had it bad. The anxiety, lol, you worry about them when they're growing in your stomach, researching every little ache or pain to make sure it's normal. Then once they're born, you worry about them. It never ends. 35 weeks, and so far my pregnancy has been smooth. I'm active and I move a lot. IRS, the after I'm nervous about, but I'm ready for it all. Oh boy, night sweats. It's another way excess hormones leave your body, and I'm 3 weeks PP and still wake up drenched like I ran a marathon. Oh my goodness. How do y'all make y'all hair grow while pregnant? And this thread, a little woo. The worst pain didn't even come from labor. It was the pressing on the stomach after birth for me. I was holding my baby while they did it, and I almost flung him across the room when she first pressed my stomach. Every time they came in the room, I was traumatized, thinking they were there to check my stomach again. Them motherfuckers don't let you sleep. You can deny any procedure at your OB in hospital if you don't feel it is necessary. Do not be afraid to say no. Advocate for yourself and your baby. The doctor works for you, not the other way around. Those fucking dreams, yo. My mouth tasted like metal. I had a spit cup damn near my entire pregnancy. Lasted for over 6 months. Let's talk about the ring of fire when giving birth. Contractions aren't as bad unless you focus on them. Let's talk about not having to give birth on your back. Let's talk about postpartum bowel movement. How the first time after giving birth, it's going to hurt like hell, and postpartum hair shredding. Stay away from all vaccines while pregnant. Always ask questions if you're unsure about anything. If not necessary, never let a doctor induce you, break your water, or do a cesarean section. You don't have to have a C-section, and if you do, you can still have a natural birth after. Okay, you're gonna pee a little or a lot when you laugh, sneeze, cough, or move too fast. The uncomfortableness and mind wandering while laying wide awake during a C-section, the pushing on the belly and getting up to walk, feeling like I'll rip my belly open after. Other than that, it was a breeze. Okay, like gas pockets, your shoulder, or some other random part of your body hurting because you have to fart. Touch aversions to food, to partner aversions, smell aversions, non-stop dizziness, fear of labor non-stop. Spicy food can send you into early labor. I definitely had pica when pregnant with my son. I didn't have normal cravings. I wanted things that were grainy and gritty, like sand and bentonite clay. No, I didn't eat sand or clay, but I did try cornmeal because it was the closest thing. The first time they got me out of bed after my C-section, I felt all this blood pour out of me, and I felt like my organs were gonna fall out of my stomach. Laughing my ass off, I thought I was gonna die. My period cramps got way worse after my first pregnancy, like went from me not really having any to them MFs feeling like baby contractions. Morning sickness is not just the morning. It's not just in the morning. Whatever you do, do not get your tubes tied. It makes your cycle hell. No medicine can help you. Oh my gosh. Babies can hear the horrible names you come up with while they are in the womb. PUPPS. Does anyone want to share good experiences for the first time moms? Y'all scaring us. They don't tell you that your pelvis, your hips and ass will hurt as the baby grows. Throwing up, pissing and farting at the same time. Can you say embarrassing? Sitting, waiting to be induced all night just to end up having a C-section because your baby was breached. The constipation. That piss on yourself and you feel more than the contractions when having a baby. Okay, morning sickness is your entire pregnancy. When your water breaks, anytime you get up to walk, more fluid leaks out. It doesn't just happen when it breaks, and it's a lot. Losing 36 plus pounds from not being able to eat due to nausea. Literally being skinnier than before you got pregnant. At 6 months pregnant, didn't show until like 8 months. Okay, being checked for dilation hurts, especially after the third or fourth time. Passing baseball-sized blood clots after. I donated my cord blood, and I highly recommend it. It ended up saving a boy with leukemia 5 years later. The first 6 weeks or so with baby is the hardest mentally. Give yourself a break. The house won't be clean again for 18 years, and that's okay. Seek help if you need it. PPD is real. You'll spend your days wishing time away to get out of the current phase, like not sleeping through the night while simultaneously feeling guilty because you'll never get those days back, being scared of sex afterwards and losing your sex drive. For me, it was at least a year to get it back. I'm sure I'll think of more. Okay, so it just basically just sounds like a nightmare. And, women still want that. Women are still having babies. They're having babies, mostly it seems, for the men. Women don't seem to be having babies for themselves as much as they're doing it to trap a man, get a man, keep a man, please a man. And the men, I don't believe, have any inkling of what the women go through. But hey, it's your choice, it's your decision. I chose not to go through that. I have had much pain in my life, and I wasn't going to add to my pain. And as for children, my concern is always the children, the babies, and their care. And unfortunately, as I said before, I'm seeing far too many stories of children who are abused, who are battered, who are abandoned, molested, trafficked, traumatized, terrorized, sexually abused. Children need a lot more and better care than they receive in this world. And I just find that the parents tend to, for the most part, be very selfish and not considering the bigger picture and only thinking, like I said, the woman is doing it mostly to please a man. And some women want to have a child to get a man. I mean, they want to have a child because that's what their friends, their peers are doing. They want to be like the others. And I think you have to really consider and plan before choosing to procreate. Before you bring life into this world, it has to be ideal for the children. I know and see so many children needlessly suffering because the parents were selfish. They're selfish. So, I'm actually happy to hear that women have to go through all of this. Maybe because that could be a deterrent for someone like me. Like, I don't want pain like that. I don't want these issues and the postpartum and depression and, oh my goodness, and then for 18 years, you're responsible. You have to parent. You have to be awake, aware, alert, and present. And that's what's the biggest problem I find after the birth, when it's no longer a little baby and the parents tap out, usually because perhaps the man has abandoned the family, the man has left the woman, and the woman is left alone to raise the child. And often women are resenting their children. Now, there's always a reference made to this line I hear all the time. Usually it's black women laughing about it. And it says, fuck those kids, or fuck them kids, and fuck these kids. And every time I hear that, it really hurts. But it sounds like, maybe parents doing what they think is the best they can and doing all that they can, and their children driving them up the wall. But again, that was a choice you made. It was a decision you made. You chose to have the children. So please think about that before you decide to use a child as a pawn, or to harm a child, to abuse a child, to beat a child, to ignore, to not support. You got to be there. You got to be there, present for the child. I am Domina de la Pai, Mistress Sasha Storm.